and make themselves into the OCS and really make themselves, have a journey and have an adventure in the world of esports.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what every player wants here. And we're seeing some familiar faces come out in this next game. It's a bit of a flashback for myself, Nathan.
Really?
Yeah.
And which players in particular? For
we're seeing Jordan come through, and of course Prominers, who, as you may know, were playing in the OCS quite recently for Equalizer, and Equalizer went through the rounds and played very well. So to see ex-pros, or should I say ex-OCS players, coming back into it like Jordan and Prominers gives me a bit of hope that there's going to be a strong team coming through there.
Yeah, definitely. And basically hoping to see some amazing players coming through from those players. It's fantastic when you have, in these sort of lower level tournaments, when they do come through and they are much more hungrier. You can see it when they play. You can see it when they go through because they want to make those big plays and they want to be noticed.
Yeah, of course. Getting into the OCS is just one thing, but it's having that title on top of you, of being more than just a League of Legends player. It's about, making it into not a career, but a sort of a side job, if you will.
Everyone loves themselves some bragging rights.
Of course, definitely. And last game, I just want to pull out a couple of stats where we had a huge Vladimir in the mid lane. Now, for the meta, that's quite a popular pick, seeing the Vladimir, but is he really that strong at the moment?
He's definitely getting a lot stronger, and that's purely because of you have these tanks coming through. Now, the reason why he's so much stronger because of tanks, and you're saying like, whoa, Vladimir's strong because of tanks. What's coming through that? It's because he has a fairly weak early game. Generally, what you'd find if you had those Lee Sins, the Kazakhs, the more aggressive junglers, they would come through, they see easy pickings. Now, these tank junglers don't really have the options to go through. They have massive lockdown instead of massive damage. Generally, when they try to lock him down, he just pulls away. Not much you can do there, making it a lot safer for him in this current meta.
Exactly right, and he was making sure he kept his Tides of Blood up, keeping the maximum stacks as possible. So we've got Never Give Up on the blue side there for you, and you're going to have to remind me of the red side for me, Nathan.
That, I believe, is Infinite Total Final Dream.
We'll get there eventually. I just chucked a really hard ball onto Mendrix there, which is a bit like me, but we'll get there as we move straight into the game. But the first bans coming out are Kalista and Azir, getting straight out of the way there. They don't want any of that weird Azir mechanics coming through. And Orianna getting out, which is a bit of a strange ban in my opinion. And of course, Sejuani being the fourth ban and the second ban, of course, for the red side.
Yeah, and I mean, Orianna's just one of those champions that is the most balanced mid laner you could have ever. She's strong, but she's never been so strong that she needs massive nerfs. I think the last thing they did to her was they took away her auto attack wind up. They didn't take away the wind up factor. They took out a little bit of damage that could actually be dealt on top of it. So
and that was the finishing touch, wasn't it? I mean, you get the ignite on Orianna, you get of course the command attack and of course the shockwave. And you chuck an ignite on, chuck a couple of auto attacks that do stack up per auto attack, and that's really what made her a threat. So by adding that down there, maybe not too much of a specific ban, but maybe they'll get taking it away from Resonance, and he might be a very good Orianna player. So we'll just have to see what he picks instead. Rek'Sai getting banned, of course. No jungle pressure coming through as much as an Umburrow, and Gragas getting picked as well as a ban. So Hecarim being hovered, we're going to see probably a strong jungler to start off with, maybe a lot of invade potential, and Nunu gets picked there, and a quick lock-in down there for Na, which shows so much confidence.
Yeah, Na's actually been seen across the boards as one of the biggest solo Rise players recently. He's got a 55% win rate. He's actually being played across all the different tiers in the leagues. We're talking the top tiers, the lower tiers, and those middle tiers as well. So he's just really shot back into the scene. And I guess, again, that's probably because we've got more tanks. He's got that HP shredding ability when he gets those 3 auto attacks off, similar to Vayne. So you probably see him coming through. He builds an early Frozen Mallet, and then he becomes amazing when it comes to kiting. And also, when he turns into Mega Gnar, he's able to keep a lockdown on whoever he gets his hands on. Yeah,
and Final Destination have just locked in the Jarvan there, which is a very strong pick. We saw him last game, and we saw Bill with his Jarvan, and he was just locking down people left, right, and center with his Cataclysm. Even Sivir Spell Shield couldn't do anything about it. So if we see a strong Jarvan in this game again, that's going to take him straight through to the finals and give him that best of 3 that they want against the Krispy Kreme crew.
Yeah, and they definitely do want to go up against the Krispy Kreme crew in that regard. They're probably the best players coming through into this tournament, and to beat them is definitely a nice notch to have on your belt.
And there goes the Thresh getting locked in straight away by Jordan. Going to swap it straight to the support main which is a fantastic name to have when you're playing Thresh. So we're going to expect some really good death sentences coming out. And of course, Graves gets locked in as well. So Prominence, from the memory of the OCS, he did play a lot of Graves, and he was very exponentially great with the early burst damage coming through from Graves. So that's a comfort pick right there.
Definitely. Graves has been nerfed recently. What they have done to him is they've made him a little bit weaker when it comes to the upfront damage if you're further away. But if you actually manage to get up close and in the face of the enemy champion, your buckshot does way more damage. So with those changes, you probably see they're not going to be too effective, but they probably will hurt him a little bit. But if, as we can see with Prominence, he is a comfort pick, he'll probably make it work.
Yeah, and Graves is so huge at the moment in this meta. ADCs, of course, don't really revolve around that, around the changes at the moment, but with a tiny change to Graves' buckshot, like you said, that close range does favour him quite a lot for heavy engages. And with a Thresh that is just going to death sentence and flay you straight into Graves' range, well then you're going to have a bit of a hard time. As we see Cho'Gath getting locked in with the Lucian down the bottom. So Cho'Gath probably mid. It looks pretty straightforward for the time being with the Gnar in the top lane. Quite a strong and possible tanky comp coming out.
Yeah, definitely a tanky comp coming through there. And again, Cho'Gath is just one of those champions that sort of shot out of the blue. Bjergsen himself really actually names him as one of the top 5 solo queue champions out there at the moment, along with Cassidy and a few others, not to name them. But basically going into it, he's a good champion. Pick him up if you know how to play him.
Yeah, it makes me want to start playing ranked now, but perhaps later Mendrix, perhaps later as we see a bit of Lulu and Hecarim getting hovered. Of course, Lulu is quite a support mid lane pick. Lulu has been shown in time to do a lot of damage, but at the same time, with the wild growth and the glitter lance, has so much CC, has so much control over team fights, and it looks like we might be seeing a Lulu support instead. Perhaps? No, Lulu mid, sorry.
Lulu
of course,
mid, yep.
Of course, Lulu mid in there, not Thresh mid. That maybe Thresh mid.
Maybe Thresh mid.
Oh, we look forward to great things like this. The Thresh mid would be great. Imagine the damage potential.
Clearly, it's Lulu ADC, Thresh mid, and Grave support. This is the meta at the moment.
That's the meta. You're exactly right. But as we do look at the things in reality, Nunu in the jungle there, and of course we're going to see the Hecarim top with the teleport and the smite, which is so popular in the OCS. We saw this countless numbers of time. The only difference was now, because smite is actually in the meta to be in those top laners, with the Hecarim, the Shyvana, the Maokai. Not so much the Maokai, maybe perhaps if they're going Warwick top, but you know, that's a bit of a rare occasion. But Nunu in the jungle and the Thresh down the support. So the bottom lane looking very strong with a Nami, the final pick for Apple. And Nami coming in there with those huge waves and a lot of CC down bottom as well. A lot of lockdown.
Yeah, they definitely have a very hard engaged team on the side of Final Destination. Basically, what they're going to come through is hopefully they'll land a decent Rupture that opens up the opportunity for Jarvan to get in there. And then you got basically the wave coming through from Nami as the icing on the cake as the Mega Gnar goes through and destroys.
And I love how Mega Gnar, he times it. You've got it, well, I shouldn't say he, but the summoner, of course, has to time that Mega Gnar for team fights. When Mega Gnar goes into a team fight, that's pretty much the do or die phase for the team. So Final Destination can time that around the Mega Gnar and maybe the Jarvan with the Cataclysm. You got to think the rest of the team have so much CC there that it's just going to be instant lockdown and instant pushing potential.
Yeah, definitely. And really, it's all about positioning in these team fights. You have an amazing engage coming on the side for Never Give Up.
Oh, yeah.
With having that combination of the Lulu and the Hecarim. With those two in combination, when he comes through the ultimate base, he can come through with his Onslaught. And then after that, he's going to get the Lulu ulted in. He's going to get extremely tanky, and he's going to be fearing and locking up the rest of the team. That gives the opportunity for the collateral damage to come through, gives the opportunity for the absolute zero from the Nunu. After all that, you have to kind of hope, okay, what's going to happen on the other side? It really comes down to Wild Wild West. Who's got the quickest trigger finger?
Oh man, the quick draw, the Wild Wild West. It's going to be a bit of a hoedown on the Summoner's Rift today. The Lucian versus the Graves. Lucian, of course, trades off so much better. But if Graves gets his shots, then there's just this huge burst early. And of course, he doesn't scale as well into the late game as Lucian does. That could be a bit of give or take, just depending on how their early CS game goes. But the culling, good wave clear. Collateral damage, good wave clear, good damage, and quid pro quo sort of coming down with these ADCs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, ADCs at the moment are sort of hitting this evolution. I mean, Jinx is really big at the moment. I'm surprised we haven't seen her in any of these games.
The rocket nerf.
The rocket nerf,
I mean, the point blank rocket nerf. People just used to go, oh yeah, bang. You know, instant 150 damage plus 6% missing health, or 3%, I think the actual ratio is. But now 25 damage to 125 on the first level. So you can't do that quick Bazooka Joe move anymore. It's more about, you know, tactical rocket, which a lot of the pros can do, but it's a bit of a long shot, which is why you don't see Vayne as much in the meta anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Vayne's very hard, especially in the higher tiers, to actually pull off, because it's basically, you know, one misstep, you're gone.
Yep.
She gets locked down the moment you go through. You've got all these tanky junglers with so much lockdown ability. She tumbles one step in the wrong direction, and she gets caught out. That's it. But again, you know, with all these tanks in the meta, she is a great pick for it because she can melt them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we should see a lot of melting going on in that bottom lane with the Nami, of course, versus the Thresh. The Thresh has a lot of lockdown, I keep saying. There's so much lockdown coming through. That is the word of the day. Lockdown.
Lockdown.
There is so much lockdown coming through.
Lockdown.
Hashtag lockdown coming through from both sides. Gnar, of course, with his ultimate, he has a lot of slow as well. Jarvan with the Dragon Flag, as we saw last game, and the Cataclysm, locking people in that prism of death. And the Cho'Gath with the Rampage. Last game, we didn't see Cho'Gath go as well as we possibly should have.
He was in the jungle.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be as big when he's in the jungle.
No.
That's one of the big things you have to look at. In the mid lane, he's going to get farm.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have a lot more cooldown reduction because he's going to be building pure AP. And from that, his Feast is going to be doing a hell of a lot more damage. So once he picks up a decent Rupture, it's going to do a lot of damage, a lot of CC. If he manages to get it off on 2 or 3 people, you can see a team fight instantly starting from that.
And the first thing I imagine about Cho'Gath in the mid lane is either the Rod of Ages coming through with an early Catalyst Protector for a bit of sustain per level. Remember, that gives about 200 health or 150 mana per level. So if you're trading off and, you know, you're using a lot of your spells, a lot of the Rampage, the Feral Scream, the Vorpal Spikes, of course, don't use mana, but it's gonna be easy to trade off when you have so much sustaining mana come through. So we also might see the Flask come through, the Crystalline Flask, for early sustain. But your thoughts on the Cho'Gath mid? What's the best way to build this up from start to finish?
You'd be surprised. A lot of them tend to go for an early Morellos.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because it gives you a lot of AP, a lot of cooldown reduction. Basically, from there, you're able to just sit there and farm away. And because you have so much cooldown reduction as well, you're constantly feasting, so you're actually quite beefy as well.
Yeah.
So you'll find that you actually get a Cho'Gath that's relatively big really quickly, and then very hard to gank as well. And if you make one misstep, you overgank too much, he gets a Rupture under the tower, he's going to kill you with an Ignite Feast.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the other mid lane, and we see a Lulu, which is quite a support pick, so a lot of passive play going to be coming through from the mid lane of the blue side there, but we're going to have to keep an eye on the mid lane, see who scales the best, because they're probably going to set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely in that regard. And as the teams now are moving out onto the Rift, let's see what they're going to do with the early game. We've got a lot of pings coming down that river at the moment. If you look at the mini-map, you can actually see they've formed an almost perfect line. Yeah,
and of course, this blue side, we've got Never Give Up, and it's the final destination coming onto the red side. Which team can get into that open Oceanic, the Oceanic Open final, and verse Krispy Kreme crew? It's going to be a best of 3 in that final, so there's a lot of chance if they do get through, but a couple of wards being dropped there to stop the invade coming through from both sides, so we might see some pretty standard laning phase coming through.
Yeah, as you can see in the map, pretty much got all the lanes moving to their normal areas. J4 a little bit delayed there coming through, just probably walking through after he backed out. There's not much going on. They're not trying to make any moves around the map to get early vision to see if they need to lane swap. Again, looks like we're going to have standard lanes.
And of course, at this sort of skill level, I don't think you need to lane swap particularly. I mean, both sides are going to benefit from it, but it's maybe not as effective as it would be maybe in a higher tiers. So no lane swapping keeps it simple for them. Of course, keeps it simple for me as well. And we get to look at a much broader perspective of the game. And we see both Doran's Blade getting picked up by ADC, so no Longsword or extra pots. And we just see a Doran Shield getting picked up by the Hecarim with Teleport and Smite. But the Doran Shield against Gnar, is that a bit of a thing?
It's basically because he knows he's going to get harassed out. Gnar's going to throw as many auto attacks as he can at him. It's up to Hecarim to really sort of find Gnar out at a point where his hop's not up, and then just basically rush in and hit him as hard as he can with his Rampage. But it's going to be definitely going to be a hard match for the Hecarim. Probably look to see him try and push out the lane as fast as he can early, and then from there he's going to try and see if he can roam around the map. Yeah,
and the Cho'Gath and the Lulu in the middle already trading off. Having a Muzz is doing quite a lot of damage. Remember, Lulu early with the Glitter Lance does quite a bit. So, and of course the auto attacks do it. This extra bit of thing as well. And Support main is looking for an opportunity down bot, trading off with Apple, misses the flay there, and it might be an opportunity for Lucian to trade off, but we just continue there. But look at the health already in the mid lane. They're just trading off so often and so much damage going back and forth.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to try and do there. It looks like they're going to call in their junglers to see if they can take advantage of the fact that they're chunking each other. The person that probably moving quicker would actually be the Nunu because he's got a really quick clear. But already Resonance has managed to sustain back up, and same with having a move. They're just going through chunking away at their pots or biscuits in this case.
Yeah, it looks like J4's already at his red, whereas Nunu's just moving there. So Jordan's going to have to move there quite quickly to keep up and make a bit of an option for this mid lane. Having a Muzz, just trying to clear it. The wave is pushing very hard against that mid lane. So Cho'Gath, he has a lot of wave clear early. Remember that Feral Scream does a lot of damage to those minions in the early stage. Prominence with his experience as an ADC in the OCS. Looks to be the favorited lane, but he dodges out of that bubble as well. So we're just going to see maybe an unknown ADC versus an ADC who we have expectations for, but doesn't mean that Lucian isn't going to perform.
No, definitely not. Definitely looking to see what the Lucian can do. I mean, there's been a lot of jokes saying around that you have Graves and you got worse Graves, but that's the LCS guys. With the new nurse coming through to Graves, he's a little bit more weaker, and so Lucian actually has a much fairer fight because he's not going to have coughing as much upfront bronze damage from that buckshot when it comes on through. So it's going to be interesting to see how these lanes play out. It is fairly standard at the moment. No one's really trying to make a move. They're just farming up. And Nunu might be looking to go for an early dragon.
That's a great point about the Nunu there. He always looks for that early dragon. Of course, the Consume gives him a double smite from level 1 if he chooses to take it. But he looks to be making an appearance in the mid lane as we do just see the trading off going off in top. But nothing too much going to happen in the mid lane with trading still continuing. And Cho'Gath with his sustain already getting it back. Prominence taking a lot of damage down there, and that's going to get him to back off for the time being. A lot of blood just being spilled back and forth.
Yeah, not too much going on. It's just, you know, sort of like ebb and flow, walk in, walk out. Just a couple... Yeah, I know. Did you see what you can see there, what I did there with that particular moment in time? Yeah, but just a bit of ebb and flow, really, coming from both sides of the team.
Look at the Jarvan there. He's standing there for a bit to see, is this warded? And unknowing to himself, it doesn't look to be. No, it's not for the time being. So support main might get caught out here with the Dragon Flag. The knock up and a nice play that gets him out. The flash is there as well. Prominence looks for the Lantern to take back. Really well played by that Thresh as we move to the top and trading off. But that Thresh, perfectly timed play for that Dragon Flag.
Yeah, he's definitely taking up some tips from Xpecial there. I mean, he's one of like the biggest champions we've ever seen. When we see, I think he was the one that showed us, like, hey, did you know you can actually interrupt the dash mid-air if you use a flay at the right time? Ooh. And Prominence is going very low there.
Yeah, he definitely did. Nice trading off coming from Lucian. The Ignite has been popped, so that's not going to be up for the Nami, but that's going to force the Graves to go back with the Thresh, which is going to push out the wave. They're going to lose a couple of waves or two, lose a bit of experience, which gives that Lucian a nice level advantage.
Yeah, and that's really what you need. Lucian does scale harder, so you really want to keep Graves down as fast as possible. And ooh, there's a flash coming through, and he looks like he manages to get away with a hap, and the Dragon's going to be going down.
Oh, Dragon going down nice and early as Nunu makes his way up. Very well countered by the J4 as they see Nah having to force a flash, but at what cost? We see the Dragon going down. It's going to go nice and easy. First Dragon for the red side, and Final Destination are going to pick that up with quite an easy worth.
Definitely, indeed. And as you can see, Hecarim there being a little bit cheeky, thinking he might be able to pick up a bit of extra free damage on the Nah, but he's got that water, so he just throws a boomerang in and lets him know, hey, horsey, I know you're there.
And definitely the horse knows with the smite going down. Nah took a flash with the teleport, which has already worked out quite nicely for him. So, in a sense, you know, that's working so far. But with the double smite, sorry, I should say triple smite, coming through from Never Give Up. Never give up, guys. Never give up. That's their catchphrase is there. It's in the working title. So 3 smites. It's going to ensure a lot of dragon control and a lot of Baron control in the late game. Yeah.
Well, you also see there's a bit of a gold advantage growing up for Never Give Up at the moment. But that dragon going through onto the into Final Destination really does help early. And it looks like there's a bit of trouble happening for the horse.
Oh, the Dragon Flag is there as well. Will the Cataclysm come through? No, in fact, he doesn't actually have it for the time being. So Hecarim's going to get out with a nice horsey runaway, or whatever you'd like to call it for the time being. Having a Muzz comes to the top lane, doing a bit of damage already. But is he a bit out of position with the Wild Growth coming through as well? He's now 1v2ing, pushing them against their turret, looking for the glitter lands. He doesn't get it, in fact, and it looks like he did force yet a flash out of the Lulu. So a bit of worth coming through once again, but Lulu looking quite strong for the time being.
The teams are playing this extremely well. Every time there seems to be a chance that have been brought up for them, they manage to get out of it. So who will be the first one to drop the first blood? And Prominence in trouble.
Oh, the damage coming through from Perfect is too much to handle. But the Ignite through, a first blood trade-off with support main taking the kill, and a bit of a wasted teleport coming through from RJ. And it looks like it's just going to be a 1-for-1 trade with both ADCs. Sorry, Lucian gets the kill, but the Graves gets an assist with the Thresh picking it up that time. So maybe a bit more worth for the Lucian with already having that extra level and that extra CS advantage.
Oh yeah, on top of that, they managed to blow the teleport from Hecarim as well. And with that, he also got the first blood gold. That's another 100 on top to what Thresh received, and you don't want Thresh receiving it.
No, you definitely don't. And all he's going to pick up from that is the Sightstone, which is going to enable more vision control, which is great and possibly the reason why they're losing a lot of these trades. But it's probably not what you want at this stage of the game. As a Flay comes through, as well as a Death Sentence, is Prominence there in time. Apple does take a turret shot, but it is not enough. And support, he's going to have to back off from this bottom lane, which might enable a bit of a dive coming through Prominence, as we see the Relentless Pursuit coming through. And he does have the culling if he needs it, but he doesn't. The Ignite goes off and Apple picks up a kill. And there's going to be so much turret damage coming through on the bot.
Yeah, Thresh was trying to hold the lane frozen there at that turret to give Prominence what he needed to actually farm and get himself back into the game. Unfortunately for him, though, he also needed it back and took too much damage from the minions and from Nami to actually remain. And that's what opened up the opportunity for Final Destination to really take advantage of that, get through on that particular bubble off on him, and then from there, it was all she wrote.
Yeah, RJ still trading off with this Gnar in the top lane. We got 2 kills to 1 going at the moment with about 800 gold lead, but we see Jarvan popping his head up here. Can he time the Dragon Flag? No, the Hecarim actually sees it coming. And is the damage enough? Unfortunately, no, it's not. So we're going to see Hecarim get away with some nicely placed movement. And we're just going to see some pushing coming towards that top turret. Hecarim, can he clear this without putting himself in too much danger?
He's in a bit of trouble hanging around there. It looks like they're forcing him off. Having Mus is also trying to handle 2 champions at the moment. He gets caught by the Rupture.
And 2 knockups, dodging 1 and actually getting hit by 1. He does have the Feast old Cho'Gath. Yes, he does. But can he actually land at the Rupture? Not the Rapture, sorry, not in the right spot. Resonance dodging the Death Sentence. And Hecarim actually does come down from the top lane and avoids getting dived. Dovin. Dives at the turret.
Yeah, it definitely does. And really that gives Gnar what he needs, the free time to just go there and go to work on that tower. And Nunu's doing a lot of damage.
JRDN is proving himself here. The Rapture comes out, but JRDN puts out the absolute 0. And what an icy cold world for Jarvan as he pops the Cataclysm. Not enough damage. The blue side are stacking up in this middle. Never give up, proving their worth and evening the score right now. Bit of a gold lead for Final Destination, but it's only 1.2k for the time being, so a good lead, but maybe not enough at this stage. We see Baby Myself in the middle lane, cannot get that boomerang at the moment, but are we going to see him engage? A nice Dark Passage to get him out.
Yeah, and he looked like he took it at the last second there. And like you said, this game is definitely not far from over. That gold lead, although there's only 1k at the moment, this game can still go anywhere and be turned on its head. So just going through into this game now, we'll have to look to see what they're going to try and do. And
of course, Fatal Dream are looking quite strong at the moment with 1 turret already against Never Give Up's 0 turrets. So gold lead advancing about 1.4k. Of course, every bit counts. And the CS advantage may be what the most important factor here. You see the Cho'Gath with 100 against 91. Of course, the Jarvan doesn't have too much of a CS advantage for the time being. Actually, 10 behind. We've got the Gnar on about 15 in front. And the Lucian with a huge 20 gap that Prominence needs to close quick, otherwise Lucian will just take off.
Lucian's also got a very greedy build as well, as a lot of damage goes down onto Thresh.
Oh, the damage coming through against support main. He's got to be careful, otherwise Perfect is just going to run straight through him, and that was unexpected.
Yeah, definitely unexpected. That double tap coming through from Lucian did a lot of damage, as well getting a little bit caught out by the Nami Q. But with Lucian, he's picked up an Everest Blade. He's going to stack even more gold. So the longer this game goes on, he's actually going to get quite big.
And with the triple smite, you got to hope that Never Give Up are going to challenge this dragon before Final Dream can secure it. It's already down to 1,500 health. Can they get there before it? No, unfortunately, there's an easy dragon for them, uncontested. Second dragon for Final Dream, and that's going to be their extra damage to minions and monsters. One step closer to that mobility, which Never Give Up. They haven't got their first dragon yet, which is not too promising.
Yeah, Fatal Dream is doing a fantastic job of dragon control, especially the fact that they don't have the Nunu. The Nunu has a feast, he has a smite. It's very hard for them to actually keep up its control, yet they're doing it. And the fact is, this is really bad. Nunu, when you play a Nunu, you want it to be there, but Bufusot is in trouble.
Oh, so much damage. Once again, support main is so squishy for the time being. He rams out a death sentence, but it doesn't hit, and he's going to have to back off from that mid lane. Looks like Final Dream are stacking up onto this mid turret as well, looking to push, but the huge wave clear from having a Muzz is too much. As a flash comes in from Be Myself, he does get the Lulu, who just takes so much damage. Oh, the flash is not enough for the Jarvan as the Cataclysm comes out. The damage from Prominence is just too much as well. It looks like a 2-for-3 trade in the way of Never Give Up. Sorry, in the way of Final Dream. And they might not be able to push this turret, but a lot of blood spilled.
Yeah, and just taking him through another gold advantage from that. And that's purely because of that extra damage they have from the dragon, on top of the fact that they have that little bit of extra damage coming through from the tower, letting them siege better. Na was in a fantastic position to initiate that fight, and even though it was a tower dive, they managed to come out on top.
And now it looks like Resonance is just gaining even more farm to add to the list. He's already got his Rod of Ages to stack up, which is his first item. On top of the Doran's Ring, that's a lot of AP, and I think he can get this turret without too much hassle coming from Prominence.
No, definitely. And as it falls, Prominence is there trying to see if he can pick up a consolation kill onto the Nami, but Resonance is going to drop through, make sure he can't do anything about that. A lot of damage going down, though.
He's pretty keen to get this kill, but he just backs off. He knows when enough is enough, and he forces Cho'Gath to go back, which might have been the aim of the game to start off with, which gives him a bit of pushing power in the mid, and I think Never Give Up just really want this mid turret to give him a bit of an opening.
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, with him going mid, it leaves Lucian more time to split push in the bottom lane. And he's going to gain a very steady level advantage by doing this. This is something you don't want to happen between the ADCs. Otherwise, Lucian is just going to scale further and further into the game.
Yeah, and Final Dream still looking pretty strong with it's moved to about a 4k gold advantage. And a lot of that is farm of individual players, but also a lot of that is the kills that they're attaining with a bit of shutdown added in there. But look at the Thresh. 2 for 1. He's got the most kills on the team.
Yeah, he does have the most kills in the team. That's not where you want it to be. You really want it to be on your carries. You want it spread across that Lulu, the Hecarim, and the Graves, and that's just not happening to them. But if you look on the side of Fatal Dream, they seem to have it more better in that regard. They've got a kill on Lucian, 2 onto Cho'Gath, and he's going to be a monster. If he catches anyone, he's going to kill them.
They must be playing really hard because their name just keeps changing 3 different times. And Fatal Dream, as we've now understood, and we've got it in the pocket there as we finally do move on. And Scuttlecrab getting picked up for both sides of Fatal Dream. And that's a lot of vision control coming through from the river. Remember, Scuttlecrab was nerfed a couple of patches back. It doesn't give full vision control of that big area, but it does do enough to provide enough, you know, if anyone's walking through, they'll know.
Pretty much, yeah. And you can see if you can try and skip over. It was kind of unfair for the junglers, you know, if they did pick up that settle grab for that time to actually get around the river, and they'll just be seen every single time. And having that speed boost is still something you can't really scoff at. The amount of times I've managed to escape myself just because I have picked up that river grab at one point, it's very good.
Oh, yeah, and the pink ward getting cleared from Perfect as Floja just looking for more vision control, which he finds. Cho'Gath went for the needlessly large rod. He's not too concerned about building anything else at the moment. Looks like we might be seeing either a Zhonya's or a Rabadon's Deathcat come out. Jordan, no wards here. We saw this coming, ladies and gentlemen. The Cataclysm comes out. He's popped the absolute 0. It's not enough damage to get him out of there either. Prominence has now just taken all the damage of the culling. He brings out the collateral damage. Not enough. The fear comes through from Hecarim, which picks up the kill, but the face just noms down the Thresh. And now having a Muzz looks for the flash. He does get the kill on Flojimith, and it's just a messy battle with 3 members still up for Fatal Dream. And we still look for a bit of a jungle fight, but they're going to back off with a 3 for 2 trade, once again going in the way of Fatal Dream.
Yeah, they definitely set a fantastic trap there, and it was very well done by Never Give Up to actually get some constellation kills. There was a fantastic teleport coming through from Hecarim to really come through, and now that he's got that, he doesn't even have the Triforce, he still had a lot of damage with his Rampage and his Onslaught to really take out Lucian, and with that he's got the shutdown goal. That opens up more opportunities for him to actually snowball into the game and actually do something for his team.
Is Brutalizer, is that like a common build path for the Gnar? I normally see the Gnars go for the Trinity or for the Randuin's Omen, depending on a bit of a situational pick, but Brutalizer first item Gnar?
I believe it's changed. He no longer needs to get a Brutalizer to get the Black Cleaver. So from there, in that regard, he actually went...
That's the one.
Yes, he went into the Phage, and after he got Phage, he went and picked up a Kindle Gem, and from that, he was able to get the Black Cleaver now, which has now been changed with the new item.
Oh, what a great death sentence from support main, forcing a flash and the cleanse from Nami. Does he have another death sentence up? No, he's not going to go into this one, and that was some really well played by support man.
Yeah, he really needed one of those hooks. He needs to get a few more of those into those to really get Never Give Up back into the game. And that's probably why they never give up. They're going to land those hooks.
Yeah, and we see Resonance once again proving himself. He went for a Luden's Echo second item. He's getting extra movement speed. He's getting the 120 AP. We might see a bit of out positioning coming from Jordan again. A nice Dark Passage, but nah. Oh, the CC comes up, but it's not enough as Nami's Tidal Wave comes through. And the members of Never Give Up are getting torn apart in this jungle. Killing spree going to the Nami for some reason. And is the Cho'Gath out of position? No, he's not. They're just walking through this jungle like it's their own, Mendrix.
Definitely. Never Give Up is on damage control at the moment. They are so scared of that Cho'Gath Rapture. It basically made them unable to position from that fight. And Gnar went straight in. He timed his Mega Gnar perfectly. And now they've opened up another dragon. They now have 3. The very important movement speed buff is now available to them.
Look how much movement speed they have. Look how much mobility they're going to have around this map. And they've already got so much. That the Hecarim, we're looking for the teleport with the Home Guard, which I believe he just did, but it wasn't that effective. I'd like to see the Home Guard from base Hecarim. That's something that's going to surprise Fatal Dream and something that could take them by storm and really get Jordan in a great position to use his Absolute Zero.
Yeah, definitely in that regard. I think he didn't have his teleport up then. They were just caught out.
Yep.
I believe he had used it previously before to kill the Lucian. That's how I mentioned the shutdown
okay.
gold on him. But it's you know, it's all that regards that he still has that onslaught, and he's still probably one of the biggest players in his team at the moment.
Yeah, Gnar's ability to trade off never ceases to amaze me. He does actually get that in the end, doing a lot of damage to the Hecarim. Can he 1v1 this? He does ult, and there's the Java, and just to add insult to injury, I think B myself could have done that, but he does in fact get Hecarim, which has taken him down for a huge death timer of 30 seconds. Rapture misses Mars, damage coming out from the Cho'Gath, but they're looking so strong. Fatal Dream are looking very strong at the moment.
Yeah, J4 just coming through in that guard, making sure he does that kill secure. The zoning potential that Cho'Gath is throwing off right now. Resonance is doing a fantastic going on through. There is speed up onto Jordan. See if he can get into the map, but they're just going to steal away that blue and walk away. And again, the zoning potential is just huge that Cho'Gath provides.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Resonance is providing so much power towards Fatal Dream, sorry. And support main, he's landed a couple of death sentences that matters, but he looks like he's aiming for Cho'Gath a lot of the time. And if he can zone out Cho'Gath, sure, but he's so tanky at the moment, has so much health, I should say, that you probably don't want to go for it.
Yeah, give it a little bit longer into the game. If he hasn't picked up any resistances, that health will drop very quickly. But at the moment, he's not really the target you want to get. You want to get that Lucian. You want to get Gnar when he's not in Mega Gnar. You want to get Nami. But the problem is that there's a giant Cho'Gath in the way, and he's popping ruptures left, right, and center.
Yeah, huge body means huge problems, ladies and gentlemen, but he is 50 CS ahead. That is such a sizable gold advantage. That is almost half an item ahead. So we're going to see the Cho'Gath scale up quite nicely. Hecarim, he takes a turret damage, maybe a bit too eager for this one. He's not in turret range anymore, so we'll see him pick up the first turret for Never Give Up, which is a sign of perhaps good things to come. There's the first turret for Never Give Up. There's a bit more gold to add on, even though it's a 6k gold disadvantage for Never Give Up. That's going to lead him to good things.
Yeah, and he actually has a lot of pressure in the top lane. And looking for supports, trying to get Lucian.
Oh, the Dark Passage comes out, but Jarvan's there. Maybe too eager to go in, as you were. The Tidal Wave comes through from Nami. She gets the bubble, and the culling just goes straight into Jordan. Be Myself is sitting on that back line, looking for an opportunity. Can he go into Mega Gnar form? He actually doesn't have anything in his bar, so Not too much of an advantage for himself, but look at the... Oh my god, they're just walking through the turret, and Prominence can't do anything for the time being. As I say that though, Cho'Gath, you've gone a bit too far there, and they've just taken full advantage of it. 3 members of Never Give Up go down. Cho'Gath goes down, which was their big hyper carry in the mid lane. His first death. 4 members of Fatal Dream are still up, but can they push this bottom turret? I think that'll be the 3rd turret for them if they can possibly... Sorry, the 5th turret for Fatal Dream, if they can possibly get this.
Yeah, definitely. Well, basically Cho'Gath there was forced into the turret from RRJ Bro, so he did a fantastic job trying to pick up some Constellation shutdowns for his team, but they're still pushing on through and they're still picking up more than what they're losing, and that's a bad sign coming through for Never Give Up. Obviously, true to their name, they're going to stick out this game and see what they can do for you there, but this game, as this game goes further and further, it's going to snowball more in the favor of Fatal Dream, and it's up to them to really keep a vice grip hold on the game that they have now, and as they've opened up the map, now they can look towards getting some vision on the Baron.
I love how we keep basing Never Give Up's play strategy on their name. That's a fair League of Legends gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. The Oceanic Open Ladder, we've just begun it, and already we're seeing some pretty strong teams come through, both with their merits, but Fatal Dream already looking so huge. Luden's Echo already completed on Cho'Gath. Rod of Ages already 10 stacks ahead, and the Fiendish Codex has just been picked up by the Cho'Gath, so maybe be looking at what we'll be looking at with the Fiendish Codex.
Maybe a Morellonomicon. There's a lot of things he could actually build it into. He just really wants to put on reduction so he can feast himself back up to normal.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of options he has with that with that Fiendish Codex in terms of just cooldown reduction that he can go into.
Yeah, and we see a bit of vision control coming from Fatal Dream. So Hecarim is top lane at the moment. Is that the right positioning? He's going to have to back off, of course, but shouldn't he stick around and perhaps challenge that Baron?
He probably should, but I think he's feeling a little bit scared, really.
Yeah.
He was there. There wasn't really too much vision on who was around. I think they could only really see the Cho'Gath. There's not that much wards in that jungle. He's probably felt that they're probably setting up a gank for him. It looks like he's made his way down to the bottom lane to contend with Gnar. And Fatal Dream are looking for the opportunity to start that Baron, but they're just waiting to see if they can get a pick first.
Yeah, the ambush potential is really high with so much CC coming through. And the Cho'Gath and the Nami look to be making their way over to the Baron, but Resonance has taken a lot of damage from the Baron for the time being. The Rapture goes down, and we're going to see possibly a very quick Baron, and Never Give Up slowly moving towards this, but can they get it? Can they steal the Baron out underneath their wings? They do miss a smite, but it doesn't matter because they do finish off with a feast. Support main just takes so much damage, and this could be the team fight that Fatal Dream really want. Jordan gets the bubble, and now there's a bit of an engage happening down the bottom lane, but with the Baron buff, I think that the Gnar is going to be doing so much more damage. He's gone into Mini Gnar. The ult comes from Hecarim, and they just knock each other out with a couple of blows. You've got 2 members down of Never Give Up, and 1 from Fatal Dream. So can they push this mid turret and get their first inhibitor?
Well, they definitely have the tools to go there now, but they're going to just sit back, go straight for the Dragon, pick up a bit more damage there and more pushing power, and then once they regroup, they're going to come through the extra gold that they picked up from the team fight from the Baron and come through and power on through. That's the next plan. Without Gnar, they don't really want to start because then they don't have their Mega engage. They really want their tanky sort of, I'm going to go through, hold this Harad aggro while you guys finish off the rest of the damage. It was really well done by Gnar as well, I want to point out, from that team fight. He actually went through and stopped the teleport coming through from Hecarim. And because of that, they were able to come through and also win that team fight. For him to also trade, probably after putting himself in danger, in order to get to trade the kills after putting himself out there, to really use his cooldowns not offensively but defensively, is actually a great job by him.
And we see Jarvan picking up the 4th Dragon for Fatal Dream, and that is so much map control for the time being. With triple smite on Never Give Up, you'd hope that they sort of had a bit more ward coverage, had a bit more stealing potential, and knowing Jordan as a great Vi jungler, he has in the past had some great steals, so still waiting for that one to come through. Hopefully he can impress us before the game is over. 8-16 is Never Give Up's challenge at the moment. They're looking at a 11k gold disadvantage. That is a huge amount, and with 5 turrets down, they're facing a lot of pressure at the moment.
Yeah, they have also to contest with the fact that they have a 4 Dragon buff team with Baron. And Gnar's just sitting there in the bottom lane. He doesn't have the Baron buff, but he's still going to push that lane out for him.
No, and they don't really need it for the time being. To be honest, that they've already given enough pressure. Didn't do too much with this Baron buff, which is going to expire in the next minute or so. So coming very close to the end, but they actually might get the top turret with Cho'Gath pushing that out quite nicely, or at least waiting for the Baron buff to kick in on his minions.
Pretty much. They're just going to go through, take out the last little bit of infrastructure before they need to crack the shell, which is never give up. And looks like they're looking for an engage.
Yeah, and it looks like the turret will go down while we see that as well. Jarvan looking for support, man. He finds it with the Cataclysm. The Numb just eats Jordan alive. And we see a perfect 2 going down. And as we speak, it's perfect. He just kites out of that one. His culling doing so much damage. For some reason, Nami's on a rampage. What is going on here? Cho'Gath gets eaten alive himself. And 4 members of Never Give Up are down. It's a final dream. Oh, yes, it is. The turret looks to be going down. Jarvan probably shouldn't have stayed around for that long, but does he really care at this stage? There are some big death timers. The inhibitor's going to go down. Hecarim, can he challenge this with 3 members? Not for the time being. And there's the inhibitor. Perfect. Don't stick around, otherwise he might get hurt, but Hecarim might see an advantage. But apart from all that, wow, a lot of damage coming out.
Yeah, and that was pretty much a 4v5. Cho'Gath really showing you the amount of power he has when he just jumped in there, basically reckless abandon, and he used these feasts. He's got so much damage to his Rupture. The moment you get caught in it, that's so much damage. It's enough for Perfect to clean up. Na was even late to that fight, and they didn't even need him. They had already trade ahead. But is Perfect in trouble?
Oh, Perfect. Just beat in the wrong bush there. Hecarim doing very well to take advantage of known being backing spots. So an extra bit of gold for him. He's 7 for 3 for the time being with the Randuins and the Cinderhulk. So there's going to be a scaling member coming out of Never Give Up. It's either going to be him or if Graves, if he can get a couple of kills to add to his belt.
Yeah, and RJ Bro is just looking to put Fatal Dream's final destination a little bit slower.
Yeah, RJ Bro is looking pretty strong. And it's not like the game's over just yet. There may be a bit of a gold advantage going towards 3K in the favor of Fatal Dream, but the game is not over till it's over. They can still come back from this. They can still make a heavy play to come through as Jordan takes a lot of damage. There's the Rapture, and he just gets the wild, goes straight on him. The Cataclysm comes through. So many ults getting popped. Jordan runs with the absolute 0, but it doesn't do enough damage, and this might be it. This might be the fight once again, as Hecarim so tanky, doing a lot of damage. He can definitely 1v1 this now with the Trinity. Oh, he doesn't have the Trinity Force, sorry. Cinderhulk going against me, myself. Perfect has run in very eager-like. The Hecarim is so big, I don't think he can trade off with this. Oh, Lucian very well played with the culling and the Relentless Pursuit. Doing so much zoning potential. For the time being, as I say that, the culling actually does come out. And having a Muzz gets flashed on by the Gnar. So many summoners used, so many ults used, and just a massive team fight once again.
Fatal Dream were very lucky to come out on top there. They didn't have Lucian when that fight started. Cho'Gath was instantly taken out. His damage wasn't there. Graves was doing a fantastic job, just sitting in the back line, just pushing it away. The hook almost getting on through, but I think they're going to pick up the tower.
Yeah, turret going to go down. Support main can't do too much about this as we see, oh, maybe he can, as I say a bit too eagerly. Eagerness is the name of the game this time. And support main defends that very nicely, looking for an opportunity for the Lucian. He goes to the Flay. A nice death sentence to zone him off. The damage comes through, but at what cost? Perfect is going to get taken down by the Hecarim and the Nunu, giving yet another kill to RRJ, bro. And that's exactly what they needed. Take out their pusher, give them an opportunity to drag him, which is what they're going to go and do right now.
Dragon's got about 50 seconds, so that gives them the chance to set up the vision and wards that they really need to go for that. That might give them what they need, but they still have to contest with a Cho'Gath, and they still have to contest with a J4. He's just sitting around. He's happy to take away their blue buff at the moment. He believes he has enough time. If you actually look at the timers there, Baron and Dragon are perfectly timed.
Yeah, and if you can't take one, take the other. That's probably the best suggestion to give at the moment, as the Feral Screen does a lot of damage in zoning off. The Rapture hits, and this is going to be Hecarim in a situation he doesn't want to be in. Cho'Gath doesn't have his Nom at the moment, but it doesn't matter as the Scream's just doing so much damage. A perfectly placed Rapture zones off the Hecarim. He can't get out. That's 2 members down. 45 seconds on that death time, and Nunu already down as well. They're going to push down this mid. They might get this inhibitor, and they might get another couple of turrets.
The gold deficit is just too much for Never Give Up to overcome at the moment. With one Rapture catch, then you don't really have any room for error. And from that, they're actually going through and they're powering on through. Me myself is actually going crazy at the moment.
Oh, wow. The damage coming from the tank now is huge. Of course, the Black Cleaver does so much now with a little bit of a buff. And there's going to be the first Nexus turret going down. They're very eager to get rid of that. Nah himself is not going to get rid of it yet. They're going to let the minions do it. He's doing so much damage, and they're going to look for an opportunity. Perfect doing so much. The culling comes through once again, and it's just laying into those backline carries. Nunu nearly dies as well. Hecarim with the home guard looking to engage. He does find it with the fear going off. First he looks for the J4, but he doesn't find it as the rest of his members are getting taken down by Perfect. Cho'Gath, Perfect, all getting taken down. Will J4 go down as well? Yes, he does. A double kill coming through from Muzz. And the Nars trying to get out, but I don't think he'll find it this time as the Nunu. What just happened? The Nar somehow bursted the Nunu to finish off. That's 4 members down for Fatal Dream. So not all of them. So Nami can still at least defend, but the only thing Muzz can do is defend himself.
Yeah, and it's hopefully going to see if they can try to save that tower. It might just looks like they're going to get it. It's very close. RJ Bro is heading into the Dragon to pick that up. This will be the first Dragon of the game for them, and this is really something that they definitely need. Basically what happened there, Fatal Dream saw blood, or they smelt blood. They were going in for the jugular, and they didn't expect the Wounded Beast to have any fight back. And never give up, true to their name, have never given up.
No, they definitely haven't, as Hecarim's pushing down this Dragon. Unknown to Fatal Dream as to whether he's getting or not. That's going to be the first Dragon. Give him a bit of a bonus there. And the 6% AP and AD has never looked so better. With Hecarim, 10 for 5, 3 items built, going towards that Spectral Cow. Probably a Spirit Visage or perhaps a Banshee's Veil.
Either one in this case would be good. Probably he wants to pick up that Spirit Visage, but he's got more cooldown reduction, but the Baron is open, and there's not much Never Give Up can do about it.
Look at the health just go down. There's nothing to that Baron. No effect whatsoever. Of course, Fatal Dream picks up their second Baron of the game. Jarvan, Cataclysm. He's straight in on that with the Wild Growth, CCing all the members. A jungle fight may have not been the best idea, as Be Myself takes all the frontline damage. Mega Gnar comes at a fantastic time. They run over the Hecarim, but in response, the Lucian is just tearing apart. And that's going to be a quadra kill coming from Perfect. A nice ace to finish it off, and that might be the game with Gnar teleporting in there, an inhibitor going down. The surrender vote comes through. Fatal Dream winning with a bit of a whitewash.
Never Give Up gave Fatal Dream exactly what they wanted. They were in the jungle. They had already picked up the Baron. That was perfect for Gnar to go through. He's got so many walls for his ultimate into. It gives so much initiation for Jarvan to get in there. And on top of all that, you've got a giant Cho'Gath with Raptures and Feral Screens doing amazing amounts of damage. They got melted. There was not much they could do in that situation. They went in a bit too late. If they were there a little bit earlier, maybe they would have had some open room to actually fight around that.
And how's that Hecarim running straight in on the Cho'Gath? But Cho'Gath doing so much damage that he can't react in time. And of course, Gnar was always there. He made sure he kept his teleport up for those vital team fights. He made sure he kept it up for a moment of, of great confidence, I should say. But Gnar, he played a really good Gnar. And it's impressive to see how players on the open ladder so far can handle Gnar, because he has so much skill shot potential, but not everyone can land it.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of those champions that has multiple abilities once he does the transform. So there's even more mechanics hidden behind him. So when players really do a fantastic job playing the Gnar, they actually pull through it comes across amazing, especially when he lands those ultimates.
Yeah, and that's not all, because we're going to be going into the Krispy Kreme crew versus the Fatal Dream. Sorry, I got that name wrong a couple of times in the game, but I've made myself up. Fatal Dream's going to be versing Krispy Kreme crew and a best of 3 to see who can take out the open ladder finals for this week. So make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.